From what I understand, it seems that choice is first, then trust. Or is it in reverse order? And allowing, because allowing is part of the trust, isn't it?
Yes and no.
So, it seems like if you make a choice and you trust it, you can thrive. Is that right?
I agree.
And I think where we get tripped up sometimes, because you make a choice and we are like, oh, was it the right choice? But whatever choice you have made, it's always the right choice, is it not?
In one manner of speaking, yes. Every choice that you make won't necessarily be the right choice for you. But it's not the wrong choice either. What that means is that you might make a choice that you might not be satisfied with. Or you might not like the outcome of a particular choice. And that doesn't mean it's a wrong choice. What it means is that the choice that you made was either an experiment or because you're not paying attention. But that does not mean it's the wrong choice. But it may not be a choice that you're happy with or that you're satisfied with. This happens many times in relation to physical expressions. People engage physical manifestations very often that they don't like and they're not comfortable with. Those are choices also. You don't think of them as choices. You think they simply happen. No. You're making choices, but you don't always look at what you're doing as being a choice. If you trip and fall, you don't look at that as being a choice. You think of choice as being something that you want, or something that you want to happen. That's not necessarily correct. Everything is a choice. Everything, every moment, every movement, everything is a choice. That doesn't mean it's an intentional choice. It doesn't mean you know that you're choosing something, but you are. In that, this is what we continue to discuss and engage in information about, and in relation to your present shift in consciousness, that you're moving in the direction of intentional choices, that you're moving in the direction of becoming more self-aware. What does that mean? When you are self-aware, by extension you are aware of what you're doing, and therefore you are more informed and can make choices intentionally. And in that, then you don't have this word of accidents, or coincidences. Those don't exist anyway. But you think they do, because they are what happens when you're not aware of what you're choosing, when you are not aware of what you're doing, and therefore you aren't paying attention to what you're choosing. It doesn't mean those choices are hidden from you. It simply means you're not paying attention to them.
So if we make an aware choice, an intentional choice to take an action or to do something, whatever it may be, with a not known outcome, how does that play into what you're saying? But we won't know what's going to happen when we make that choice. Do you understand what I'm saying?
It may be simply that you want to do something, or you want to have something, and therefore, you're making choices in relation to that, and moving in those directions. That doesn't necessarily mean that you know precisely what an outcome is going to be. Sometimes you do. Sometimes, in relation to being intentional, making an intentional choice and coupling that with determination, you can be making a choice in which there's no doubt, and you do know what the outcome is.
Isn't that control?
No. That's directing. Now, everything is interconnected. And what determines what is happening in that interconnectedness is your attention. Therefore, when you're not paying attention to something, you may notice that it seems everything is going wrong, or you're moving in directions that aren't yielding what you want. Because the things that you do want, you're not paying attention to. Therefore, yes, you missed it. You missed it because you weren't paying attention. Therefore, even if that ad was directly in front of you, if that wasn't what you were paying attention to, you wouldn't see it. You won't see what is directly in front of you if you're not paying attention. And that doesn't mean that you're not paying attention to anything. You're paying attention to something. You're simply not paying attention to what's directly in front of you. This is the reason that I have expressed many times with many individuals that express to myself, Elias, express to me what is my greatest obstacle. You can't see your greatest obstacle. You're not going to hear whatever is directly in front of you until you are paying more attention to you. When you are being more self-aware, when you're paying attention genuinely to you, which means, what am I doing? Not only what am I doing physically, but what is happening inside of me? What am I paying attention to? Am I paying attention to everything that I perceive as not enough? Am I paying attention that I never have enough time? That I never have enough money? That I never have enough of what I want? That I don't have enough attention, not enough love, that I don't have enough? Not enough, not enough, not enough. And whatever it is that you're paying attention to, know that everything is interconnected. Therefore, if you're paying attention to not enough in one direction, it's going to affect every direction. It's going to affect everything in your life. If you're paying attention to everything that you can see is positive, and that you do have enough, and that you are satisfied in your life, you're going to create more and more of that. And that's what you're going to see. If you buy a brand new red car, you're suddenly going to notice every other red car on the road, because that's what you're paying attention to. And that's what you're making important. You made that brand new red car important. You like it. It's important to you, and now suddenly everywhere you look, everyone else has a brand new red car. That's because you're making something important and you're paying attention to it. And remember, you only pay attention to what is important, and importances are expressed in varying degrees. Some things are more important, some things are less important. But you don't pay attention to things that are not important at all. If something is not important to you, you won't pay attention to it. This is the reason that I have expressed to people in regard to relationships that, when they are expressing tremendous frustration with their partner, that they have expressed repeatedly over and over and over again. Don't do this. This bothers me. It distresses me. Don't do it. And I have expressed that 1,000 times to my partner, and my partner keeps doing it. Well, if they love me, they won't do it again. Wrong. Because what's important to you may not be important to your partner. And it isn't a matter of your partner doesn't love you, or that you're not important to your partner. But what you're telling them might not be important. Therefore, they might think about it for a day and genuinely try to pay attention to that. And all it will take is one distraction, and that whole subject is out of their head. And they don't think about it anymore. And a week from then, you will express again, I told you this is important to me. Don't do it. And they'll say, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. And they will, because it's not important to them. And in this, you don't pay attention to things that aren't important to you. Now, what is not important to you? It's you. And you think you're paying attention to you, because you can say, I know what I did today. I went to the store. I drove my vehicle. I played with my cat. I walked my dog. I talked to my partner. We went out to dinner. But where are you in all of that? Where are your choices in all of that? And if you have high blood pressure, where is that in the equation of that day? Or if you have a chronic cough, how is that factoring into that day? Or if you are at odds with your sister-in-law, how did that factor into your choices that day? Or if you're not happy with your neighbor, how did that factor into your day? None of those things are factoring into your day, because those are not things you're paying attention to. And the reason you're not paying attention to them is because you're not paying attention to you. Because you are the central point in all of this. Everything revolves around you. Each one of you is the sun. And everything in the universe revolves around you and what choices you're making. Therefore, what choices are you making? And in that, are you being controlling, or are you being directing, and do you know what the difference is, and can you feel the difference in how you function? Are you listening to your own signals? Remember, all feelings, it doesn't matter if they are emotional, it doesn't matter if they are physical, all feelings are generated by the body. Your body creates all feelings. And what are they? They're all signals. They're not a communication in themselves. They're simply a signal. They are a red flag saying, pay attention to me. Not the feeling, me. Meaning you. Pay attention to why you. What are you doing that's making that feeling happen? People think that their feelings are a result or a reaction to other people or to situations or circumstances. No, they're not. They are yours. They only belong to you, and they are always a signal to you about what you're doing in that moment. Therefore, if you hammer your finger and it hurts, what are you doing? No, it's not that you hammered your finger. That's not the point of what you're doing in that moment. What else are you doing that made that happen? If you have some physical manifestation, if you have anxiety, anything, these are all signals to you about what you're doing. And in that, the point is to be more self-aware. The more you're aware of you and the more present you are, the more you're going to have the information to make choices that are to your benefit, and what you want. In this there are so many expressions of paying attention to you, and what that means, and how important that is, and how easy it is to distract your attention. How easy it is for you to move your attention.
So if you're choosing, is it possible to choose an experience that would not be your preference, but just to try it out?
Yes.
And if I don't like that one, I'll pick this other one.
Absolutely.